All right, we have a couple of questions, Lisa,
Okay.
for you.
Yeah.
Can we have some years in a child life in mainstream school and have
Experience.
experiential experiences?
Okay. Yes, definitely. I think all education should be experiential. I know that in mainstream they have large numbers of children, and that then becomes a huge task for the class teacher. What I would suggest is that in a large class that there be three teachers, but then again we're going to look at expenses of having to pay three teachers' salaries for one class. But I really feel that we have to work around this so that most of the children's experiences are, in education is not textbook and paper, but going out and actually experiencing life skills.
All right, our next question is,
Kind
which
of
kind of task can perform or assign to kids during online sessions so that they start taking initiative for studies at home on their own?
I'm going to struggle with this one. Where as a Waldorf educator, we don't do online for young children. We just don't. So that's a huge struggle for me. Um, the only way I can see around this is that if you could first work with the parents so that they understand how a learning experience has to be experiential and not paper and thing. And then when you give a task to the child, the parent is more aware of what you're asking the child to do and can help the child. But it's a hard one. Online sessions with young children. It's I think, an almost impossible task, actually. Mm. And the last one, how can we bring STEM in online platforms? Again, I would ask you to help me here because I know that today I was talking to a friend of mine who's doing online classes, and she said you either had to adapt or perish. And I said I'm going to perish because online platforms doesn't work with Waldorf education. So it's a really hard one for me to do. I really think that this is the time. I can digress a little bit. That we have the time to try and see how when we do begin again on with face-to-face education, how we can change that physically in the schools. This is a time when we should be doing that. Though everyone's telling me that the future is online, so I'm a dinosaur when it comes to online platforms.
All right. Thank you for your lovely answer. I think we all have our own ways of dealing with issues. Yeah. And I think then the last question that was there on the screen was all about online usage on STEM and STEAM. So it's no point asking. Yeah. So we leave the house open to the audience. If they have quick questions, we have around 5 minutes with us in case audience want to ask any question.
Oh, hello, Liza, ma'am. This is Ganesh.
Hello.
I'm calling from organization called Chrysalis from Chennai.
All right.
And my son actually goes to a Waldorf school.
Wonderful.
In Chennai, and there's been some fantastic experiences for him and for me as a father, as a parent. I want to ask you this. I know that there is a division of 777 in Waldorf education, right? Yes. And the characteristics of the children also changes the soul and the spirit and the will and the skill. It'll be great if you could throw some light on it for all of us here who are not probably familiar with Waldorf education. That's one. Second is how challenging is it to have this home teacher? I know that a teacher travels with the child from grade 1 to grade 7.
Yes.
So how do you manage that, and what are the benefits and some of the pitfalls of this?
Okay. So should I do the first one?
Sure.
Educating.
Sure.
Okay, it's what we call educating the freed etheric body. Yeah. During
Yes.
the child's first 7 years, the etheric forces are used to shape the physical body. So we do a lot of physical movement. Even our math, our language, everything is done with a lot of rhythm and physical movement. Yeah. And with the change of teeth, some of these forces are then freed up and available for the learning process. And the education of this freed etheric body, as we call it, in the child starts in the first grade when the child is reached 7. What has been developed unconsciously in the first 7 years will come to blossom in the next 7 years, is what we feel. So in the first 7 years, we're working on the physical body, and then with the change of teeth in this next 7 years, which starts with grade 1, yeah, a lot of what's happened unconsciously in the first 7 years comes to blossom in the second 7 years when we do our work in the classroom. At age 7, we can begin to work with the freed etheric forces, as we say, and nourish what we call the astral body. I'm going to use these terms because I'm thinking you're familiar with them, yes? Since your child goes to Waldorf school. We are trying to cultivate is memory, lasting habits, temperaments, and lasting inclinations and enduring desires. Let me be clear that when we say we need to work on the child's etheric body, what most Waldorf teachers think of working with the children's etheric bodies, they think mostly of rhythm. And then teachers tend to spend more time and energy with rhythmical activities in the lesson than to working and strengthening the memory forces. Okay. Every morning in a Waldorf school, we hear many rhythmical activities, mainly done by the teacher, where the whole class follows at will. In these cases, the children often don't work enough individually with the material, which they should. Okay, a lot of time is taken rhythmically, but I'm thinking today we need also to for children to work with the material.